Good afternoon, students. We will do the numerical related to Kohlroff's law. Question: calculate lambda m and lambda eq. Means we are actually doing the numericals related to molar conductivity and equivalent conductivity of barium chloride at infinite dilution. At infinite dilution, if ionic conductivity of Ba2 plus and Cl minus are 100 and 50 respectively. Now, this is the data given to you. So, calculate molar conductivity and equivalent conductivity of BaCl2 at infinite dilution. Infinite dilution means lambda m0, yeah, lambda eq0. If ionic conductivity of Ba2 plus and Cl minus ions are 150 respectively. So, the solution for this is lambda 0 BaCl2. Here you can write lambda 0 m for BaCl2. Yesterday we have written for NaCl. It will be ionic conductivity of Ba plus 2 plus 2 times ionic conductivity of Cl minus. Because this is molar conductivity, you have to consider the moles, right? The ionic conductivity of Ba plus 2, it is given, Ba plus 2 is 100 plus 2 times ionic conductivity of Cl minus is given 50. So this will be 100 plus 100, 50 into 2, it will be 200. So this is your answer. Lambda 0 m for BaCl2. So molar conductivity of BaCl2 is 200. Right? Siemens centimeter square per mole. You know the unit of molar conductivity. Same way, you can calculate equivalent conductivity. I told you it is not given, but numericals are being asked. So for equivalent conductivity, lambda 0 EQ. EQ means equivalent conductivity of BaCl2. This will be equal to ionic conductivity of Ba plus 2, right, plus ionic conductivity of Cl minus. But here important point is this is equivalent, and when you say it is equivalent, here it is given that at infinite dilution ionic conductivity of Ba plus 2 is 100. But we know whenever you want to find out equivalent conductivity, we have to divide by its n factor. N factor is 2. Plus here, it is not molar conductivity, so you don't have to multiply by 2. It is 50. Divided by n factor is 1. So your answer will be 50 plus 50. This is equal to 100. So lambda 0 EQ for BaCl2 will be 100 Siemens centimeter square, and yesterday I told you the gram per equivalent. This is the unit. We have completed 2 topics. First, electrochemical cell which converts chemical energy into electrical energy. By doing chemical reaction, electrical energy was produced. It was a spontaneous reaction. And second, we have completed conductivity, electrical conductance and all these things. Different topics we have done. Now the third topic of this chapter is electrolytic cell. And electrolysis. Electrolytic cell and electrolysis. So first we'll study what is electrolytic cell, about its condition, and then electrolysis. First, electrolytic cell. A cell which converts electrical energy into chemical energy for non-spontaneous reaction. And actually you have studied this in 11th standard, right? So if a reaction is non-spontaneous and if you pass the electric current, electrical energy, chemical reaction will take place and chemical energy will be produced. Clear? So can I say that delta G0 for a non-spontaneous reaction is positive, and therefore E0 cell, it will be negative, because we know delta G0 is equal to minus NF E0 cell, right? Now you can see here, if E0 cell is negative, then this minus and minus, it will become positive, and delta G0 positive indicates the reaction is non-spontaneous, and non-spontaneous reactions are carried out in electrolytic cell. We have studied about copper sulfate, impure copper at anode, pure copper at cathode, right? So this was about electrolytic cell, a cell which converts electrical energy into chemical energy for non-spontaneous reaction, or you can say a cell in which electrolysis is carried out, or a cell in which electrolysis is carried out. So electrolysis is carried out in an electrolytic cell, right? Now second is, this is the first point, your electrolytic cell. Second is electrolysis. Now what is electrolysis? Electrolysis is a redox reaction taking place when electric current is passed through two electrodes dipped in electrolytic solution. Electrolysis is a redox reaction taking place when electric current is passed through two electrodes dipped in electrolytic solution, so that oxidation takes place at anode and reduction at cathode, and produces product. Or you can say liberate product. The result of this type of redox reaction, is known as electrolysis. So what is electrolysis? It is a redox reaction taking place when electric current is passed through two electrodes dipped in an electrolytic solution, so that oxidation takes place at anode and reduction takes place at cathode and liberates the product, produces the product. The result of this type of redox reaction is known as electrolysis. For example, water. When water undergoes electrolysis by passing electric current in presence of two platinum electrode, by adding few drops of H2SO4, you will get H2 gas plus O2 gas, right? If you want to balance, you can write half H2 gas. O2 gas will be obtained at anode, H2 gas will be obtained at cathode. Let us see how. Water, when electric current is passed, anode and cathode both are made up of platinum, then actually it dissociates into H plus plus OH minus, like NaCl, Na plus plus Cl minus. Anode, in electrolytic cell, anode is positive. So at positive electron, negative ion will be attracted. So OH minus will be attracted here. And at anode, you know, oxidation takes place. At anode, oxidation takes place. So oxidation means loss of electron. So it will lose electron. If OH minus loses electron, just for the balancing, I can write 2H2O gives 2H plus plus 2OH minus. So 2OH minus gives 2 electron, loss of electron. So what is left? O2. O2 gas, right? It will be half O2 gas plus H2O. H2O. So by this way, O2 gas is obtained at anode. At cathode, cathode is negative in electrolytic cell. See, in electrochemical cell, anode was negative, cathode was positive. Now it is reverse. As it is negative electrode, H plus positive will be attracted here, and 2H plus takes 2 electron and undergoes reduction, and we get H2 gas. So by this way, you can get H2 gas at cathode and O2 gas at anode by the electrolysis of water, right? So this is called electrolysis. Electrolysis means it is a redox reaction in which electric current is passed through two electrodes, anode and cathode, dipped in an electrolytic solution that takes place at, so oxidation takes place at anode and reduction takes place at cathode, and the product is obtained. The product obtained at anode is for water, O2 gas, and at cathode it is H2 gas. So the result of this type of redox reaction is called electrolysis. There are two aspects of electrolysis. One, qualitative, and both of them are being asked in the exam. Second is quantitative. So here qualitative aspect will be asked in form of theory, quantitative aspect will be asked in form of numericals, right? Qualitative means nature of product. What will be the nature of product, right? So that we are going to study in the qualitative aspect. And quantity, we have to find out amount of product. So there are two aspects of electrolysis. One is qualitative, another is quantitative. We will deal with both one by one. The first aspect, qualitative aspect. As I told you that in qualitative aspect we are going to discuss about the nature of product, right? It depends on, it means nature of product, it depends on again two factors. There are so many factors, but two are being discussed in our book. It depends on two factors. One, nature of the material. We are going to study in detail. The word used is material. Actually, it is type of material. It may be a concentrated, it may be a dilute, it may be a molten. And second is type of electrode. Already we have studied the type of electrode: active electrode, inert electrode. So if you use active electrode and if you use inert electrode to carry out the electrolysis of the same compound, the nature of the product will be different. Clear? Same way here also. If you use a material, NaCl, dilute, NaCl, concentrated, NaCl, molten, then also the nature of the product will be different. So nature of product depends on two factors: nature of the material and type of electrode. So both of them one by one we are going to discuss. The first, nature of material. Let us see what type of material we are going to use. When you carry out electrolysis, the first point in this, electrolysis of molten NaCl. Let us see what happens when we carry out electrolysis of molten NaCl. You know NaCl, on passing electric current, right? In NaCl, when you pass electric current, we get Na plus plus Cl minus. As earlier I told you, at anode is positive. So which ion will be attracted at positive? Negative, Cl minus. Right? Important point is now, here at anode, Cl minus is attracted. So Cl minus undergoes oxidation, means loss of electron. So if Cl loses electron, it will be converted to Cl. But we know Cl is always in form of diatomic gas, Cl2. So we can balance it like this. So here, at anode we get the product Cl2. At cathode, cathode is negative electrode. So Na plus will be attracted at cathode. And at cathode reduction takes place. So Na plus takes electron and get deposited as sodium solid. So what are the product obtained here? The product obtained here are Cl2 gas at anode and sodium metal at cathode. See, the product obtained is chlorine gas at anode and sodium solid at cathode by electrolysis of molten NaCl. This is molten NaCl, already have written here. Right? Now second is electrolysis of, instead of molten, electrolysis of aqueous concentrated NaCl solution. Aqueous concentrated. NaCl solution. Again same. When NaCl undergoes electrolysis by passing electric current, but this time it is aqueous. So we get Na plus aqueous plus Cl minus aqueous. But we know as it is aqueous, water is there. So there are chances of water undergoing electrolysis here also. And it is converted to H plus aqueous, OH minus aqueous. Here there are two possibilities because water is there. Here molten means without water. So only one possibility is there. Let us see now what happens. At anode, which is positive. Now what will happen? Anode is positive, but negative ions are two, Cl minus and OH minus. Two possibilities are there. Now out of these two, who will undergo oxidation and who will undergo reduction? Let us see. If Cl minus undergoes oxidation, it will be converted to Cl2 plus electron. This we know. The value for this is given 1.36. Its E0 value is 1.36 volt. You can say, right? And for water, here you can say for H plus, if water is undergoing electrolysis at anode, it loses electron. If water loses electron, it becomes positive 2H plus. Plus, what is left? If 2H plus is gone, O2. Right? There is possibility of O2 gas. Now out of these two, which is correct? Here the value of water is also given. E0 value is given. The value is 1.23 volt. Now we have already studied that if standard potential, electrode potential is higher, then it will undergo reduction, because standard is reduction. Here whose value is higher? Chlorine value is higher. So chlorine should undergo reduction at cathode, right? And lower value should undergo oxidation. So water should undergo oxidation in this case. If water undergoes oxidation, product obtained will be O2. But it is not like this. What happens here? Extra potential is applied, called over potential for oxygen. So when extra potential is applied, which is called over potential, this definition also is called over potential. What is over potential? Sometimes the electrochemical reactions are spontaneous, but they are very slow. So in order to make them fast, in order to increase their rate, we supply extra potential, and that extra potential is supplied is called over potential. So over potential is for oxygen. If over potential is there, then this potential will increase and this will decrease. So due to decrease in potential, this chlorine will undergo oxidation. So our product obtained is Cl2 gas. In this case, our product obtained is Cl2 gas. Let us see at cathode. Cathode is negative. Again here there are two possibilities, Na plus H plus. Right? Let us see what happens. For Na plus, if it takes electron, it will be deposited as sodium solid. For H plus, if it undergoes reduction, it will be H. I can write H2, half H2 gas, if I balance it. Right? So let us see now what happens here. Here the value is given. E0. Actually it is reduction value. The reduction value for Na plus is minus 2.71 volt. And for H2 we know it is 0.0 volt. Now out of these two values, which is higher? This is higher. Higher value. So undergoes reduction. If H plus undergoes reduction, the product obtained will be H2. If product is H2, then what is the product obtained at cathode? At cathode, the product obtained will be hydrogen gas. At anode, the product obtained will be chlorine gas. And one more important point, these Na plus, it will combine with OH minus and forms NaOH. So Na plus combines with OH minus and gives NaOH. Therefore, three products are obtained by electrolysis of aqueous concentrated NaCl, we get three products: NaOH, then H2 at cathode, and Cl2 at anode. So this you have to remember. So now you can see nature of the material. The material is molten, the material is aqueous. In both the cases, products are not same, products are different. Clear? So this was the first aspect about qualitative aspect of electrolysis. Qualitative means nature of the product. We'll take another example also. Example 2. Electrolysis of H2SO4. Now when we carried out electrolysis of H2SO4, you know H2SO4, aqueous H2SO4 actually it is. H2SO4 gives 2H plus SO4 2 minus. Right? So here at anode is positive. Two possibilities are given in our book. One is anode, negative ion SO4 2 minus will come. Right? And if you talk about water, then water also gives H plus OH minus. Right? Now, here SO4 2 minus and OH minus. What will happen here? Both are possible, but 2OH minus at anode oxidation takes place, loses 2 electrons. It loses 2 electrons and gets converted to O2 gas plus H2O. You can see the balance. Clear? This reaction is for dilute solution. When H2SO4 is dilute, then this will be the product. O2 gas will be the product at anode. You can write or instead of this. Directly you can take 2 moles of water because dilute solution contains water. So water loses electron. Water loses electron, 2 electron. And when it loses electron, you know what it becomes? It becomes H plus. And what is left now? O2 gas. So whether you write this equation or this equation, both are correct. Oxygen gas is obtained by electrolysis of aqueous H2SO4 solution at anode when the solution is dilute. And when the solution, if you want to write it at cathode, you can write the product also. At cathode. Cathode is negative. So in both the cases it is H plus. So no question. You can write 2H plus takes 2 electron and get deposited as H2 gas. So here, in case of dilute solution, O2 is obtained at anode and H2 is obtained at cathode. See here. O2 is obtained at anode and H2 gas is obtained at cathode. But what about concentrated solution? If solution is concentrated, H2SO4, then in case of concentrated H2SO4 at anode, again positive, 2 possibilities, SO4 2 minus, OH minus. Now you know in dilute solution water is more, that's why this undergoes oxidation. But in concentrated solution, SO4 2 minus is more. So 2 times SO4 2 minus will give you S2O8 2 minus per sulfate ion, disulfate, plus 2 electron. So this is the product. And at cathode there is no problem, because at cathode you can see here both of them have H plus only. So 2H plus takes 2 electron and get deposited as H2 gas. So if the solution is concentrated, product R S2O8 2 minus at anode and H2 gas at cathode. So again you can see here, in case of sulfuric acid also, if you take dilute, the product is O2 and H2. If you take concentrated, the product is S2O8 2 minus and H2. So again the nature of the product are different when the material is different. One is dilute, another is concentrated. So this was the first aspect. Okay. Now the second aspect, quantitative aspect, that is amount of product, right? Before studying that in detail, one more point we will take, that nature of product, I told you, it depends on the material, nature of material. Material we have taken dilute, concentrated. In earlier case we have taken molten and concentrated. But I told you it also depends on type of electrode. That is not given in our book, but they are asking, so we will take one example. Type of electrode. Depends on type. It depends on type of electrode. Let us see type of electrode. Electrode, I told you, it can be inert, it can be active. And you know the definition of both. Active electrode, electrode whose atoms or ions take part in reaction. So we will see here. Inert, electrode whose atoms or ions do not take part in redox reaction. Let us carry out both one by one. First, electrolysis of CuSO4 aqueous using inert electrode, platinum. Now when we use platinum electrode, then you know in platinum is inert electrode, and inert electrode do not take part in redox reaction, only provides the surface. So let us discuss in detail. CuSO4 aqueous, on passing electric current through platinum electrodes, what will happen? It will give you Cu2 plus aqueous plus SO4 2 minus aqueous, right? Along with this, water is there. H plus plus OH minus. Now what will happen? At anode, anode positive, right? At positive electrode, SO4 minus and OH minus both will be attracted. Both will be attracted, but only OH minus undergoes oxidation. Why SO4 minus? Here over voltage is not possible. One more point, oxidation number of sulfur is +6, and further you cannot oxidize sulfur to +8 or +10. So OH minus will undergo oxidation, and we know the equation. 2OH minus on oxidation loses electron, and when they lose electron, 2 electron, it will be converted to half O2 gas plus water. So this is our product. At cathode, cathode is negative. Again here, at cathode, Cu plus 2 is attracted and H plus is attracted. Right? Now, Cu plus 2 takes 2 electron and get deposited as Cu solid. Now you may think that, sir, why H plus does not undergo reduction? You know the value of H plus. The reduction potential of H plus is 0, and the reduction potential of Cu plus 2 is 0.34 plus 0.34 volt. So higher the value of reduction, it will be more reactive. If it is more reactive, then it will undergo reduction. So what are the nature of the product? Here the product obtained are O2 gas at anode and copper solid at cathode. So this is the first aspect. Now second, electrolysis of aqueous CuSO4 using active electrode. Copper itself. The electrode this time which we are using is active electrode. An active electrode which itself undergoes oxidation, we know. So what will happen here? On electrolysis of aqueous CuSO4, by passing electric current, we get Cu2 plus aqueous plus SO4 minus aqueous. But here, at anode, which is itself negative, Cu plus 2 is attracted, but anode is also made up of copper. Anode is made up of copper because we are using copper electrode. So copper impure will undergo oxidation. This we have studied in 9, 10 as well as in 11. And at cathode, which is positive, what will happen? Cathode is positive. So, sorry, anode is positive, cathode is negative. Here I told you why SO4 do not undergo oxidation. Maximum oxidation state is over. Cathode is negative, so Cu plus 2 will be attracted. So Cu2 plus takes 2 electron and get deposited as Cu solid. This is pure. And this reaction you have studied in 10. The net reaction is 2 electron cancel. Cu plus 2 cancel. Copper impure gives copper pure. And this you have studied in 10th, 9, 10, 11. That impure copper is taken as anode, pure copper is taken as cathode. So here the nature of product is What are the products? Impure copper at anode, pure copper at cathode. So you can see here now, the nature of the product obtained during electrolysis are different when we are taking different electrode. If we take inert electrode, it is O2 and copper. If you take active electrode copper, then the products are copper itself at anode and copper itself at cathode. So these are the two factors on which the nature of product obtained during electrolysis depend. One was nature of the material, second is type of electrode. So these are the examples. 34. So the quantitative amount, the quantitative aspect was given by scientist Michael Faraday in the year 1833 to 34. Now, Faraday's first law of electrolysis. Faraday's first law of electrolysis. So what is Faraday's first law of electrolysis? The amount of product obtained during electrolysis is directly proportional to quantity of electric current pass. जितना करंट पास करोगे उतनी प्रोडक्ट मिलेगी, राइट? सो आई एम राइटिंग दैट स्टेटमेंट. The amount of product obtained at electrode during electrolysis is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity passed through the electrolytic cell. I will write cell. So this is your first law. First law of electrolysis given by Faraday. The amount of product obtained at electrode during electrolysis is directly proportional to quantity of electricity passed through the cell. This means you can write mathematically W is directly proportional to Q. W is directly proportional to Q, where W amount of product and Q quantity of electricity passed through the electrolytic cell. Now, in physics you might have studied, or if you have not studied, I can write one more point. If I ampere current, this is a note. Your Faraday's first law is this much. Amount of product obtained at electrode during electrolysis is directly proportional to quantity of electricity passed through the electrolytic cell. इसका मतलब जितना करंट पास करोगे उतनी प्रोडक्ट मिलेगी, राइट? So this is product, this is current. Both are directly proportional. Where W is the amount of product, Q is the quantity of electricity. Now I will derive one equation. I will write one equation for quantity of electricity. If I ampere current is passed 40 seconds, if I ampere current is passed 40 seconds through the electrolytic cell, then the quantity of electricity it is Q, is given by the equation. You might have studied in physics. Q is equal to IT. Q is equal to IT. So, can I write like this? Therefore, W is directly proportional to I into T. If I want to remove a proportionality sign, I can write, therefore, W is equal to ZIT, where Z is electrochemical equivalence. Electrochemical equivalence. And Z is also equal to equivalent weight divided by 96500. So therefore, I can write, see, I am deriving this formula in detail so that you can use this formula for JEE questions. Otherwise, you have to solve it in detail. We will study both the type of numericals. Using this formula, we will study in detail and how to find out the answer in short also. So W is equal to, I can write ZIT, that which I have written, but Z is what? Equivalent weight, right? Divided by into I into T divided by 96500. But you know equivalent weight. What is equivalent weight? You have studied in 11. Atomic weight, yeah, molecular weight, if you want to find out for the molecule, into I into T divided by N. N is N factor, number of electron transfer, into 96500 Coulomb. So this formula, you can use it. W is equal to W, weight. This short formula, you can use it to calculate numericals in your competitive examination, maybe a SEET, GUJCAT or JEE, right? We will do some numericals based on this formula.